Hey, so. I don't usually do this. I'm not someone who puts my personal life out there like this, especially something this heavy, but I don't know what else to do. I feel stuck. I've cried, I've overthought, I've gone silent, I've screamed into pillows, and I'm still no closer to figuring out if I made the right choice. Maybe someone out there will listen and understand where I'm coming from. Or maybe you'll tell me I'm completely wrong. I'm honestly open to hearing it all. So, I'm 29. I've been with my husband, also 29, for 6 years, married for 3. We've always had a pretty good relationship. Like every couple, we've had arguments and weird moments, but I really thought we were solid. We grew up in similar homes, family was everything. We talked a lot about having kids, even before we got engaged. We both wanted a big family, and I loved that about him. In early 2023, we finally decided we were ready. Emotionally, financially, everything just felt right. We stopped using protection, started taking vitamins, all the usual trying to conceive stuff. I was so excited. Every month I kept hoping I'd be late, imagining how I'd surprise him with the news. But month after month, nothing. After about 6 months of trying, I started to worry a little. I'm not someone who jumps to panic mode, but something just didn't feel right. I brought it up to him gently, said maybe we should just get checked, make sure everything's okay. But he brushed it off. He laughed a little and called me a worry rat. Yeah, I don't know where that nickname came from either, and said we should just give it a full year. That's what doctors say, he told me. Let's not overthink this yet. I let it go. I didn't want to push. He seemed confident that everything was fine, and I wanted to trust that too. But deep down, I still felt uneasy. A year came and went this past February. Still no pregnancy. Still no missed period. Still nothing. This time I told him I was going to schedule testing for both of us, and he agreed. We went to the clinic, got our blood work done, did all the uncomfortable stuff, and waited. Then came the call. I still remember how quiet it got in that room when the doctor told us the results. I assumed, honestly, that I'd be the one with the issue. That's what you usually hear, right? I've seen so many women online talk about infertility, low egg count, hormone imbalances, endometriosis, all of it. I'd already started preparing myself mentally for that kind of news. But it wasn't me. It was him. The doctor said he had something called azoospermia, no sperm in his semen. 0. Nothing. I didn't even know that was a thing. The room went quiet. I didn't know what to say, and I could tell he didn't either. It was like the floor opened up and we both fell through. The doctor explained more, said there are different kinds of azoospermia. In his case, it looked like it was non-obstructive, which means it wasn't a blockage but something to do with how his body makes sperm. There was a surgery they could try to extract sperm directly from his testicles, but it was a long shot. It might not work. And even if it did, we'd still probably need IVF. He also mentioned medications, hormone therapy, all kinds of paths we could explore. We left that appointment in total silence. He didn't talk to me for hours that day. And when he finally did, he just said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know." I hugged him. I told him we'd figure it out together. I meant that with all my heart. But since that day, it's like he gave up. I brought up the surgery, but he said no, that it wasn't worth it. That the doctor said it probably wouldn't work. I asked if he'd at least try the medication, but he said it was too much. He didn't want to do daily pills, change his lifestyle, stop hot showers, cut alcohol, all that stuff. He said it wouldn't help anyway. I suggested using a sperm donor, maybe even from someone in his family, so the baby would still have part of him. He said that made him feel less than a man. That he could never raise another man's baby. Then I brought up adoption. He flat out said no. I don't want a kid that isn't mine. And just like that, every path closed. Every single one. And now I'm here, sitting in a room where I once dreamed of placing a crib, wondering if I'm a horrible person for wanting something more. I'm not mad at him. I get that he's grieving. I really do. But what am I supposed to do? Just give up on motherhood completely because he's not ready to face this? I haven't given up on him. I've tried everything. But he won't talk. He won't go to therapy. He won't try anything. He just shuts down. I don't know what the right thing is anymore. Am I selfish for still wanting to be a mom? Sitting in a room that was supposed to be a nursery, wondering if I was the villain in my own story. Honestly, it still feels surreal that I'm even asking people online for help about something like this. But when the person you love the most shuts down on you, and you've got no one else to talk to, what choice do you have? After the diagnosis, I tried to keep the hope alive for both of us. I looked up support groups. I found forums where couples shared their success stories, people with azoospermia who still became dads, people who adopted and felt like it was the best thing that ever happened to them. I even reached out to a therapist who specializes in infertility, just to have someone guide us through this. When I brought all that up to him, he just stared at the floor and said, "I don't want to talk about this anymore." That's what he always says now. I don't want to talk about this. There's nothing to fix. I've accepted it. You should too. And I want to scream, because how can I accept it when it feels like he's not even trying? I know he's hurting. I know this diagnosis hit him hard. I know society puts so much pressure on men to be strong and virile and whatever else. But what about me? What about us? We dreamed of having kids together. We used to look at houses and say, this one has a perfect backyard for our future kids. We used to argue over baby names for fun. Now he won't even look at me when I bring up the word family. What breaks me the most is the way he says things like, "I'll never be a real dad. It's over. Move on." And the one that hurts the most. If you really loved me, you wouldn't be thinking of leaving me over this. And I get stuck in that loop. Do I love him? Yes. Do I want to be a mom more than I want this marriage? I don't know. That's the part one can't answer. That's why I'm here, pouring my heart out to strangers on the internet. I keep thinking, what if the roles were reversed? If I was the one who couldn't have children, would he stay? He says he would. He swears he would never leave me if I were the one who was infertile. But part of me wonders if that's just easy to say when you're not the one facing the choices I'm facing right now. I've always wanted to be a mom. Not in a vague, someday kind of way. I mean, it's been part of my identity. I used to babysit just to be around kids. I always pictured a life where I'd be helping with homework, making pancakes in the morning, cheering at soccer games. That dream didn't fade just because this diagnosis came in. But it feels like his did. He won't do the surgery. He won't try medication. He won't consider a donor. He won't think about adoption. He won't talk to a professional. He won't even talk to me. I've gone from being a wife to being a stranger sleeping next to someone who's already decided we're not going to have the life we once planned. He says he still loves me. But how do you love someone and expect them to bury a part of who they are? He told me, "You're obsessed with this idea of being a mom. You should just let it go." But how do you let go of a piece of your soul? I asked him, if this had happened to me, and I refused to try anything, no donor, no adoption, no therapy, would you still be okay with that? He didn't answer. That silence said everything. And here's the truth, I'm not angry at him for being infertile. I'm heartbroken with him. I'm angry that he's shutting every door without even knocking on it first. I'm angry that he won't let me hope. I'm angry that he acts like I'm selfish just for wanting to try. Do I sound selfish? Because I don't want to be. I don't want to be the woman who walks away when things get hard. But I also don't want to lose myself trying to live someone else's version of acceptance. I don't want to wake up 10 years from now and realize I gave up my dream because I was too afraid to ask for more. Is it really that wrong to say, if we can't have biological children, let's explore other ways? Am I a monster for saying, I need more than silence and closed doors? Maybe I'm just tired of waiting for him to change his mind when he's already made it up. Maybe I'm tired of trying to fix something I didn't break. I haven't left yet. I haven't packed a bag. But I feel like I'm mentally already half gone. Like I'm standing in a hallway with one foot out the door and the other still holding on to the memories. I keep asking myself, is this love? Or is this just fear of letting go? And I still don't know the answer. Some days, I don't even know how I'm supposed to act anymore. Do I pretend everything's fine? Do I tiptoe around him like this topic isn't eating away at me every single day? Or do I keep bringing it up and risk another argument? Because every time I try to talk to him about it, he acts like I'm betraying him. I remember one night a few weeks ago, I had dinner ready. I was trying so hard to be calm, to create a peaceful space where maybe, just maybe, he'd feel open enough to talk. Halfway through eating, I gently said, "Hey. I was thinking, maybe we could just talk to a therapist, not for fertility stuff, but just to help us work through all this together." He put his fork down and said, "I already told you. I'm not doing that. I don't need someone to tell me I'm broken." And just like that, dinner was over. I didn't even have the energy to argue. I just sat there staring at the cold chicken on my plate, wondering if I was crazy for thinking therapy was supposed to help people. He says I keep pushing, but how can I not? How do you just stop wanting something you've wanted your whole life? How do you flip a switch and suddenly stop dreaming about being a parent? I've never felt this alone in my life, and I'm literally married. It's like, every day, I'm mourning something that hasn't even happened. A future that we talked about like it was guaranteed. It's gone. We didn't lose a child, but in a way, I feel like I lost the idea of one. And I feel guilty for even saying that because I know people out there have suffered much worse. But this still hurts. It hurts deep. I still remember how we used to talk about having 3 kids. He always said he wanted to be a girl dad. He said he'd be the one braiding hair and helping with homework while I relaxed after work. We laughed about how strict he'd be with dating rules. He even said once, "Any guy that comes near our daughter is gonna have to get through me first." I don't even recognize that version of him anymore. Now, when I say things like maybe a donor, he looks at me like I just insulted him. Like I'm asking him to raise someone else's kid. I tried explaining that it wouldn't feel like that. It would still be our child. We'd be raising them together, loving them together. But he shuts down. He says, "That's not real. That's not my child." He also doesn't want to adopt. He told me, "I don't want to raise a stranger's kid." I said, "They wouldn't be a stranger. They'd be ours." He didn't respond. I don't know what to do when every solution is met with a wall. I'm trying to build a bridge, and he's pulling away like I'm asking for something impossible. I've tried everything, being patient, being silent, being kind, being firm. But none of it works. The moment I bring up anything about fertility, parenthood, or even therapy, he checks out completely. And I know he's struggling too. I do. This isn't just my pain. I get that. But I wish he would let me in. I wish he would try, even just once, to meet me halfway. He keeps saying I'm punishing him for something he can't control. But I'm not angry that he's infertile. I'm hurt that he won't even try to live with it in a way that still lets us have a family. I don't need him to be perfect. I don't need him to suddenly fix this. I just need him to want something as badly as I do. I need to know I'm not the only one still fighting for our future. And lately, I've started to wonder if the real issue isn't the infertility. It's the fact that we're grieving this completely different ways. I'm grieving by looking for options, solutions, hope. He's grieving by shutting everything down. We're no longer on the same page. I used to believe love could survive anything if it was strong enough. But maybe love isn't the only thing a relationship needs. Maybe it also needs shared goals, communication, compromise. And I don't know if we have that anymore. He told me last night, "You're going to leave me." I know it. I didn't know what to say. So I just sat there. And when I didn't answer, he whispered, "I would have stayed if it were you." It crushed me. Because if it were me, I would try. I would take the pills. I would do the surgery. I would consider adoption. I would go to therapy. I would cry and scream and grieve, but I wouldn't give up on us. That's what I wanted to say. But I couldn't get the words out. So here I am, sitting in bed next to the man I love, with a huge wall of silence between us, asking strangers if I'm making a huge mistake by even thinking about leaving. If you were in my shoes, what would you do? It's been weeks since that conversation, the one where I told him I might leave if he didn't try to find a way for us to have a child. Since then, things have been different, but not better. He hasn't changed. He still refuses to see a therapist. He won't take the medication or consider surgery. And the topic of donors or adoption, that's like a brick wall he won't even look at. But now, he's not hiding how angry and hurt he feels. Every time I bring up the future, he snaps or just walks away. And every time I try to be patient, my own heart breaks a little more. I feel like I'm stuck in a terrible loop, wanting to hold on, but feeling like I'm losing him more every day. There was a day not long ago that broke me in a way I didn't think was possible. We were supposed to go out for dinner with friends, a little break from all the heaviness. I thought maybe a night out would bring us closer, remind us who we used to be. But over the meal, the topic turned to family. Someone mentioned a friend who just had a baby, and I saw the way my husband's face tightened. His eyes looked distant, like he was somewhere far away, a place I couldn't reach. I said softly, "I know this is hard." He looked at me and said, "Hard? You don't know hard. I'm the one who can't give you what you want." I swallowed the lump in my throat and said, "I don't want to fight. I just want us to be okay." He shook his head and whispered, "You don't want me. You want a baby. And if I can't give you that, then maybe you don't want me at all." I wanted to scream at him, to tell him he was wrong. But instead, I just felt tears prick my eyes. Because maybe he was right. Sometimes I wonder if I love the man I married or the life I thought we'd have together. I love him, but I love the idea of being a mom even more. And that's tearing me apart. At home, things have gotten colder. We barely talk about anything important anymore. The silence between us is loud. It fills the spaces where laughter and hope used to live. I try to remind myself that this isn't just about kids. It's about us. About whether we can survive this heartbreak together or if it will finally break us apart. One night, after he fell asleep, I sat on the couch and cried until my chest hurt. I felt so lost. So alone. I wanted to call my mom or a close friend, but I didn't want to burden them with this mess. I don't have anyone who really knows what I'm going through. Fertility is one thing, but this? This is our marriage unraveling. I thought about what it would mean to leave. To file for divorce. To start over alone. The thought scared me. But the thought of staying, feeling this emptiness every day, scared me more. I don't know how much longer I can hold on to a marriage where my deepest dream feels like a betrayal to my husband. I've asked myself so many times, am I being selfish? Am I wrong for wanting to fight for motherhood even if it means losing the man I love? He says I never loved him if I'm willing to leave over something we can't control. But I believe love isn't supposed to mean giving up your dreams. It's supposed to be about fighting for a future together, even when it's hard. I wish I could make him understand that. I'm at a point where I have to decide what's more important, my marriage or my chance to be a mom. Because right now, I don't see how we can have both. Some nights, I lie awake wondering if I'm breaking his heart as much as he's breaking mine. If I stay, am I holding him prisoner to a life he didn't want? If I leave, am I abandoning the man who needs me most? I wish I had the answers. I wish someone could tell me what the right thing to do is. But the truth is, I don't know. All I know is that I want to be a mom. I want to feel the weight of a baby in my arms. To watch a tiny person grow and learn and love. To have a family that's ours, no matter what it looks like. I want to find a way to make that happen without destroying the life I've built with the man I love. But right now, that feels impossible. If I walk away, I'm scared I'll regret it. But if I stay, I'm scared I'll never get what I want. So here I am, at a crossroad, asking anyone who will listen, what would you do if you were me? Would you stay and hope for a miracle? Or would you let go to chase the dream that feels out of reach? I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't want to hurt him. But I also don't want to lose myself. Please, if you've been through something like this, if you've faced the impossible choice between love and dreams, I want to hear from you. Because right now, I need help finding the courage to make the decision that's best for both of us. It's been months since I told him I might leave if he didn't try to find a way for us to have a child. And now, I'm standing at the edge of a decision that could change my life forever. The days have blurred into one long stretch of quiet disappointment. He still won't go to therapy or try any treatments. He shuts down every conversation about our future like it's poison. I try to hold on, to keep loving him the way I promised when we said I do. But it's getting harder. Every smile feels forced. Every hug feels like a goodbye. Last week, I sat down and told him one more time how much I want to be a mom, how I'm willing to try anything, surgery, meds, donors, adoption, but I can't do it alone. I need him with me. He didn't cry this time. He didn't yell or beg me to stay. He just looked at me with tired eyes and said, "Maybe you should go." That broke something inside me. Not because I wanted to leave, I don't, but because he stopped fighting for us. I realized then that I have to fight for myself. I have to think about what will make me happy, even if it means heartbreak. I still love him. I always will. But love isn't always enough. When I think about the future, I see two paths. One where we stay stuck in this pain, neither of us happy or fulfilled. And one where I try to build the life I want, even if it's without him. I'm scared. Terrified, actually. Leaving means starting over alone, facing judgment from family and friends, dealing with the loneliness of single life. But staying feels like slowly losing myself every day. Some people say I'm wrong to even think about divorce over infertility, that I should accept the hand we've been dealt and cherish what we have. But I ask myself, can I cherish a life that's missing the one thing I always dreamed of? Can I be happy knowing I never became a mom? He says I never really loved him if I'm willing to leave over this. Maybe he's right. Maybe I loved the idea of a family more than the man I married. But I don't think that's fair. I believe love means supporting each other's dreams, even when it's hard. And right now, his dream doesn't include motherhood, but mine does. I've tried everything I know, patience, empathy, compromise, but I can't make him want what I want. So now, I'm asking for advice from anyone who's been here before. How do you choose between love and your deepest dream? How do you move forward when the person you love can't walk beside you on the path you want? I don't have answers. I don't know if I'll end up divorced or still married next year. But I do know I can't keep living in this limbo. If I leave, I hope it's not the end of us, but a new beginning for both. Maybe he'll find peace without the pressure of my dreams. Maybe I'll find joy in motherhood, even if it's not the way I imagined. If I stay, I hope we can find new ways to love each other, new dreams to build together. But I worry that waiting will only make the hurt deeper. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm scared. I'm scared to lose him. But I'm more scared of losing myself. Thank you for reading my story. If you have advice, or if you've faced a similar choice, please share. I don't know what the future holds, but hearing from others might help me find the strength to make the hardest choice of my life. Thanks so much for watching and listening to my story. If you've ever faced something like this, or have any advice, please leave a comment below. I really want to hear from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to hear more real-life stories like this one. Take care of yourself.